At this time, I'd like to introduce our third speaker. That would be Mr. David Pasta. His speech is from the Competent Communicator Manual, Project 7. His objective, research your topic. Title of his speech, Glosso What? David Pasta will give his 7th speech tonight. His speech will discuss glossophobia. Be prepared to hear about a very sensitive issue raised at the end of his formative year in kindergarten when he was characterized as a mumbler. Please help me welcome David Pasta to the lectern by chanting, speech, 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 speech.
Tonight I'm going to speak about glossophobia. Glosso, what? Glossophobia, you heard me. Glossophobia, according to glossophobia.com, comes from the Greek words glossa, meaning tongue, and phobos, meaning fear or dread. No, it's not a fear of French kissing, and it's not a fear of a tongue licking or a tongue lashing. It's a fear of public speaking. By a show of hands, how many of you besides me joined Toastmasters because you want to overcome glossophobia or simply because you want to become a better public speaker? Phew! I feel so much better. I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one. That's the important thing. Glossophobia, that's what it's all about. I did some research and I found 3 things, 3 of them. I'm going to tell you what they are now. Glossophobia, according to the Book of Lists, is the #1 fear of all fears and phobias. Most people have some fear or anxiety when it comes to dealing with speaking in front of a group. The #2 thing is that people who have this fear suffer all kinds of physical symptoms. And you're seeing some examples right here. Dry mouth, for example. Sweaty palms and armpits, accelerated heart rate, memory loss, and even difficulty breathing. The third thing is that glossophobia often results from painful childhood experiences, such as when you were embarrassed in class or didn't perform well and you were teased or made fun of by other children or adults. Glossophobia. Embarrassing moments, but stay with you. We all have our story. Here's part of my story. In kindergarten, I tried out for the role of the littlest bear in a school play of Goldilocks and the 3 Bears. I lost the part to David Manning because I was a mumbler. I was relegated to the back of the stage as a sandblock musician. In case you don't know what they do. Little did I know that later as an adult it would help me refinish many pieces of fine furniture. I remained friends with David Manning in spite of the fact that he spoke more clearly We continued eating toilet paper at nap time, waking up with dry mouths and not needing to wipe ourselves. I got out of kindergarten with only one negative comment at the end of the year report by Mrs. Ruth Payne. David needs improvement in speaking clearly in a pleasing voice. What a pain. As if she knew what she was talking about. I didn't mumble. By the time I got to 3rd grade, I must have been extremely talkative because Miss Budd made Neil Waterman and me stand in front of the whole class for what seemed like 30 minutes. We had to hold a paper towel in between our lips like this. It's no wonder I learned to keep my mouth shut. Little did I know it would help me maintain a top secret security clearance for over 20 years as a special agent of the FBI. That dry mouth is a problem. Let's recap what I've talked about so far in my research. There are, the number one thing, glossophobia is the number one fear of all phobias. Number 2, glossophobics experience all kinds of physical symptoms, and you've seen them here tonight. Number 3, glossophobia often results from painful childhood experiences. In 4 out of 4 books that I read, the overriding suggestion for becoming a better public speaker, the overriding suggestion is to practice, 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 and then practice some more. And in spite of all one's practice, Dale Carnegie said there are always 3 speeches for every speech that you gave. The speech that you practiced, the speech that you gave, and the speech that you wish you gave. And the title of my speech is Glosso What? Thank you.
Speaker number 3 would be Mr. David Pazda, and his evaluator is Mr. Ted Isensee, a longtime Toastmaster. Ted says that there are 2 main ways of looking at miracles. Either everything is a miracle or nothing is. He tends to the former, not the latter. Mr. Isensee?
Thank you very much, Mr. General Evaluator, members, fellow guests, and David, that's right. David, that's it, I remember, yeah. I'm evaluating. Yeah. You helped me a lot in this speech. I do not wonder if our audience wonders if your speech was wonderfully well organized and delivered. I do not. So I applaud you very much in the speech that you gave. Your purpose of your speech was to research a topic, and you did this in a very effective way. You gave us some references from your actual research. You defined the term glossophobia. So you gave us all the traditional type things that one would expect from somebody researching a speech. But what you did in the speech, and this became clearly part of the organization that we were going to see throughout, it took us a while, some of us, to get what you were doing in the speech, but you were demonstrating the points you were making by the way you were delivering the speech. And I personally have never seen anybody do something like that, or certainly not do it as well. Maybe they have, I just haven't seen it. I also think that your speech was very, very funny. And I have a lot of good things to say about your speech, and I came down towards the end, and I wondered, well, how could he improve the speech? And I think that's not the issue. The issue is not how you can improve this speech. I think the issue is when are you going to give it again? I think this would be a wonderful speech to give, especially as a humorous speech contest to a Toastmasters audience, because you demonstrated the things that all speakers go through. And certainly Toastmasters are people who have gone through that and can relate to it so much. You did just a great job of that. You had anecdotes throughout your speech. You also poked fun at yourself with the stories of being a mumbler and that wonderful image of having your mouth on the pedal car that your teacher made you do. And then, to show just as one of the examples of your humor, you said that may have been what caused you to be such a good FBI agent. You showed us that you learned to keep your mouth shut, and then by coming to Toastmasters, you showed us how you have been able to open your mouth and deliver your very clever, devilish ways of delivering a speech. There is, again, one question down here. What could the speaker have done differently to improve the speech? I wrote down as a question, speak more clearly. And then I thought, no, that would ruin it. So overall, they did a wonderful job, I believe, with the speech. It was researched, it was very, very funny, and you delivered it with a lot of different twists on how to give a speech. Really enjoyed it, look forward to the next one.